Silphco, bringing cutting-edge technology to the Kanto region. So let's go and check this place out, because I think it's pretty neat. Like, have you guys paid attention to the lobby? That's custom tile work, guys, that there's like different shades of color, and there's also like unique textures and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Also, if we go and explore the place a bit more, we can find some really nice artwork, like this mountain. That looks pretty cool. Hey, we have the bell tower from the Johto region, so also showing artwork from other places throughout the Pokemon world. I think that's really neat. And Spear Pillar? Mount Coronet? Sinnoh? Are we talking about Sinnoh Generation 4 remakes confirmed? Oh my goodness! It might sound like I'm getting a little carried away, but there's precedent for this, and it goes back to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. We've all seen this picture by now of Alolan Executor in the first generation, where it just has like a long palm tree neck looking thing going on, and that was pretty cool to talk about, but that has nothing on what is in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So at the Cove Lily Motel, so Lily Cove Motel, no one goes inside of these motels, like, there's actually something pretty substantial in here that, look at this. Look at this right here. What does that look like to you? That looks like a palm tree executor in a tropical setting, and no one thought anything of it. Like, something was here the entire time in plain sight, and finally, it's taken years well, over a year and a half to figure this one out. But there's actually some kind of teaser for Alolan Executor right there, and even Pokemon Sun and Moon, hiding in plain sight in a place that almost no one goes in. Now, the interesting thing about this place is that's actually really cool. This is all the game developers and stuff. So yeah, a random picture just kind of hanging up in a building has hinted at future Pokemon games before. And this is Spear Pillar, which I think is really cool. Now, just in case you guys have doubts that, it's like, well, that just kind of looks like some kind of random temple. No, if we go and check out from Super Smash Bros. And we look at Spear Pillar, there's actually a lot of really nice things being captured here. That you need to have that purple sky. You really need to get the feeling of space and the galaxy around you with all this. And the mood is just really nice. So Spear Pillar definitely being represented. Now, maybe that picture of a mountain isn't really too random after all. I'm kind of just getting like Mount Fuji vibes, but as we can see, there's pictures or at least paintings of landscape from other parts of the Pokemon world, so that could also represent Mount Coronet, especially when you look at it from the anime, or maybe just kind of hinting at something cool, something colder, like the Sinnoh region, because Sinnoh, in Platinum version, you gotta put on your winter clothes, or if you start making your way north to Snow Point City, then it's pretty much the same as well. So that's something I wanted to kind of pay attention to. Now, I was also thinking about like other regions and other mountains and stuff. Could be Mount Silver, and some people might be thinking Mount Chimney, but Mount Chimney is a straight up volcano. That's not gonna represent anything Hoenn. So we are trying to break down some different areas that this could represent. However, we just straight up have 100% Spear Pillar, and we have that tie-in that we saw with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so that's something to consider. Now, it also might not be a coincidence that with the Detective Pikachu movie, we have the Sinnoh Championship 24. So people already talked about this as like a Easter egg hint for the Sinnoh region, or, Sinnoh Remakes Generation 4 when the trailer came out. But now this is starting to get a little spooky for me, because we have Generation 4 representation in the new Pokemon game, and then the new Pokemon movie trailer shows us the Sinnoh Championship 24. And the reason why people are thinking that this could represent something for the Generation 4 remakes is that Pokemon came out in 1996. So if we do the math on 24, that puts us at 2020 for these new games. Now, the 2019 Pokemon games have already been confirmed as entirely new games. That, it's Generation 8, because there was an interview with the CEO of Pokemon back in June, so just a week after the announcement of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where they talk about the new game just to kind of, because they followed up all the information, they're like, here's Pokemon Let's Go! There's also a new game coming out in 2019. So, it was confirmed that the 2019 game will feature better graphics than any other prior Pokemon game. Ooh. And it will also be an entirely new experience featuring new Pokemon. So it is Generation 8 confirmed, new experience, which means it's not likely that it's going to be the remake, so we're going to have to wait a bit more time. However, 2019 game, completely new, then 2020 going into the remakes, it would be strange, but again, we saw that before with Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire effectively being Pokemon Z version. So that kind of lines up with 2020 and stuff like that. Now, there are things that kind of debunk all these theories and stuff, because if you look at the guy's room, well, we have 4th generation representation with the Sinnoh Championship. We have Zekrom and Reshiram dueling in another photo, so that's going to be 5th generation. And then we can see Lumio City for the 6th generation. So it could just be like all these Easter eggs all over the place, and Sinnoh Championship 20. Like, the weird thing is like, why 24? They could just add Sinnoh Championship. But 24 is like adding an extra layer to this riddle that we've seen with teases of Pokemon, like future Pokemon games as well. But what about the Bell Tower? Because that feels like it could also just kind of debunk Mount Coronet as well. It's like, okay, we're just showing cool places, like notable features of other regions in Pokemon. But the thing is, the Bell Tower might also be a tease to the next Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee game, because going back to other interviews, we have this one. Junichi Masuda on Pokemon Let's Go difficulty, mechanics, and the series future. This one is coming from Eurogamer, and at the end, does it suggest you have one eye on another Let's Go style game set in Johto? Now, this is the most recent example of Junichi Masuda talking about it, but back in June, there was also an interview, I think it was Nintendo Everything, that publisher, maybe IGN or someone, like, there was just a lot of information where it's like, hey, is this going to be like a new main series, or is this going to be like the main series of Pokemon? And Junichi Masuda said that it could diverge, that they'll just also have Let's Go Pikachu, or like a Let's Go series, while they also have the other main series, and then they'll just kind of run side by side depending on how it's received. So Junichi Masuda. So, you know, maybe if everyone enjoys playing these games, and then he laughs about it, well, people are really enjoying playing these games, and then it was specifically saying a Let's Go style game in Johto. So pretty much instead of doing remakes from here on out, maybe instead just kind of turning it into Let's Go for a more fun experience. Because like you already went through these regions, you already try-harded it, or you already had like your complete experience. So now you get to revisit it in a really fun way. I guess it also kind of depends on the success of Pokemon Go, that if that keeps up, then everything can kind of keep on pace. So maybe that's the thing about the Bell Tower. Like, hey, we could have a future Let's Go game in Johto, but also we could be working on the Generation 4 remakes. Because like, it's at the point where remakes, they're going to be a thing. I think Generation 4, it would fit so well. They did Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I feel, at the right time, where it's like, you know what, it's been a while since we've been to Hoenn, and it felt like it would be in place. A 2020 Generation 4 remake, it again feels like it would have a really nice place, especially following up what happens with Generation 8 2019. I want to go back to the underground. I want to experience making my Pokemon's balls look pretty again. God, I love that feature. And also, like, just having all the unique things that happen in Generation 4 be brought back on the Switch, all upgraded. I think they could go all out, which means there's also a lot of other opportunity. Now that Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, or not Omega, now that Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon has introduced new Pokemon mid-generation, maybe we could get some more evolutions to existing Pokemon, much like we saw with Generation 4, and it's just pretty much what everyone's been wanting, and a lot of people, they were wanting Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It's not like Game Freak decided to go against it because that's what the people wanted, so it's coming, and I think this picture might be similar to what we saw with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire in that something new is coming. Now, I checked out the Game Freak offices in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and there seems to be some symbolism to the pictures as well. That there's a photo of a beach, or a painting of a beach or something, and this could represent what we just had with Pokemon Sun and Moon in the Alola region. So there's still significance to what's going on with pictures inside these games, and then there was this one. It was like really ornate and framed, and it was in the main headquarters for the Game Freak offices, but it just has a lot of colors. So either that means like the new, like the Generation 8 2019 game, it might not be like a split version, it'll just be like Pokemon colors and try to be like this big coming together of everything that we've had in Pokemon, or this has a cryptic meaning that we won't understand until the game is announced, or maybe there's something that I haven't seen yet, because I was like, oh, red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, black, white, Diamond Pearl Generation confirmed, you know, remakes. Nah, I couldn't find anything, but this seems like a really special picture because it has a very nice frame around it. So that could also be hinting at what we have with the immediate game that's coming up. So there could be teases in Let's Go to the 2019 game. Now, this is also one of those things where we have to look back at the past, because there's been multiple teases for multiple games for the future. Pokemon X and Y came out in 2013 and teased a 2016 game that we had no information about. So they were already working on development for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and they were giving some kind of Hawaii vibes. We have a totem. We have a tiki. And that was back in X and Y. It was a strange souvenir, and the guy that gives it to you, he's even talking about it. Oh yeah, our champion's really something else. You'll find out in due time. So explicitly stating, oh yeah, we've already got another Pokemon game getting cooked up, and here's something that is representative of that. So still early stages potentially, which is why maybe I don't even know, because like the 2019 game is well under development. That was announced at 2017 E3, so that picture frame of colors might have a lot of meaning, and even then the guy kind of confirms, not Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, or even Unova. So people were like looking at the Tiki like, oh hey, Hoenn was a more tropical, laid-back, ocean kind of region, so maybe this has something about Omega Green Alpha Sapphire remakes. No, it was something completely different years ahead. So I think it's also possible for a picture like Mount Coronet, like we have with Spear Pillar, to represent something years away, games away, skipping main series games to go and tease something else. So that seems possible just from precedent, and the thing is, we know that Game Freak is always making another new Pokemon game, so it's pretty cool to see that they were like already into the next generation by the time X and Y was finished, which is what they should be doing. Now, even then, Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, so the immediate game, was teased in Pokemon X and Y. So we have a strategy guide. In addition to the 13 berries that can only be cultivated through mutation, another 14 berries do not appear in X and Y, but can be obtained only by trading from other regions. Now, there's only one way we could get those other berries, and that's going to be through Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, or the Hoenn region, where these berries were introduced. So we have this for the Whatmel berry, a berry to be used in cooking. This berry is very rare and hard to obtain in the Unova region, which is weird that it's a Kalos description for X and Y. But when we see it from Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, things start to fall in place. Used to make Pokeblocks that will enhance your cleverness, this berry is rare in other regions. Just kind of saying, like, yeah, we know that these berries, they're more common in Hoenn, and if there's a game coming up that gives you access to this being one of the inaccessible berries, it would probably be Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Also, I think it was really cool that in those games, they kind of tied it all together, like, hey, you can still use Cool Latios or Overwhelming Latios and some of these other phrases to get these berries and then cultivate them for yourself. So it just kind of shows that there's a lot of things, that there's really no limits as to what tease Game Freak might be giving us, and does it tie in with what we just saw with Detective Pikachu? Is it that this painting of Mount Coronet has that significance like we saw with the Alola region in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or is it just nonsense and we're just going crazy? But that's why I'm really excited about, because then when we get the new games coming out and we see what happens with the Strange Souvenir, we see these other teases for the next game, the next region, the next remake, and it all falls into place, which I think is pretty awesome, and I guess time will tell. So guys, enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day, thank you very much for watching.